Hey there, welcome back to the channel. When a woman ignores you, it triggers one of the deepest fears in a man, the fear of rejection. It makes you question everything. You replay past conversations, analyze her texts, and convince yourself that you must have done something wrong. But here's the truth. Most men make things worse, not because they were ignored, but because of how they react to it. They panic, they overtext, they try to prove their worth. They lose control of their emotions, and the moment a man loses control, he loses attraction. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the mindset you need. A high-value man never seeks validation from someone who is ignoring him. He does not beg for attention. He does not let someone else's silence dictate his self-worth. He understands that when a woman pulls away, it's not his job to chase. It's his job to hold his ground. A woman's silence is not just an absence of words. It's a statement. It could mean she's testing your confidence. It could mean she's losing interest, or it could mean she simply wants to see how you'll react. But no matter the reason, one thing is certain: a man who values himself does not beg to be acknowledged. This is where most men fail. They assume that if they just try harder, she'll come back. That if they send another message, she'll finally reply. That if they prove how much they care, she'll see their worth. But attraction doesn't work that way. The more you chase, the less attractive you become. The more you need her validation, the more she sees you as weak. A man who respects himself does not try to convince someone to care about him. He walks away with dignity. You have two choices when a woman ignores you. You can react emotionally, make desperate mistakes, and push her even further away, or you can handle it like a man of value, calm, composed, and unfazed. The way you respond determines how she perceives you. It separates the weak from the strong, the needy from the confident, the forgettable from the unforgettable. Today, I'm going to expose the 7 biggest mistakes men make when a woman ignores them. And more importantly, I'll show you the right way to handle it. Because if you don't correct these mistakes, you're not just losing this one interaction. You're setting yourself up for failure in every relationship moving forward. If you're ready to level up and stop making these mistakes, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am a man of value. My worth is not defined by anyone's attention or absence. Now, let's get into the first mistake. Overtexting or overcommunicating. When she doesn't reply, the weak man panics. He starts overthinking. Maybe she didn't see the message. Maybe she's just busy. Maybe she forgot to reply. He convinces himself that sending another text will fix everything. So, he does. Then, he sends another, and another. Before he knows it, he's written an entire conversation by himself, and her last response was hours, maybe even days ago. Overtexting doesn't make her more interested. It doesn't make her respect you. It doesn't remind her how much she likes you. In fact, it does the exact opposite. It overwhelms her. It makes her feel pressured. It kills attraction. A woman is never drawn to a man who seems too available, too eager, or too desperate for her attention. The harsh truth? Overcommunication sends one clear message: you lack emotional control. And a man without emotional control is not attractive. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Apply this to texting. If she's not responding, don't fill the silence with words. Listen to what her actions are telling you. If she wanted to reply, she would. If she wanted to talk, she would make an effort. Ignoring these facts and continuing to push only makes you look weak. Women are wired to be attracted to men who can handle uncertainty. They notice how you respond to discomfort. They see how you act when things don't go your way. A confident man does not let a lack of response shake him. He does not sit by his phone, waiting. He does not analyze every detail, searching for a reason. He moves forward, knowing that his worth is not dependent on whether someone texts him back. So, what's the right move when she ignores you? One text. That's it. If she wants to talk, she will. If she doesn't, that's your answer. Do not send a follow-up. Do not double text. Do not ask if she saw your message. A high-value man never begs for attention. He lets his absence speak louder than his words. And trust me, when a woman realizes you aren't chasing, she starts wondering why. She starts noticing the silence. She starts questioning if you've moved on. That shift in power, that's how attraction is built. If you've ever made the mistake of over-texting and you're ready to change that, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am calm, confident, and in control. I do not chase, I attract. Now, let's move on to the next mistake. Trying to win her back. The moment a man senses distance, his instinct is to fix it. He convinces himself that if he just says the right words, makes the right move, or proves how much he cares, she'll come running back. He starts crafting long messages, planning grand gestures, or subtly trying to remind her of what they had. But here's the truth. Attraction doesn't work like that. You can't convince someone to feel something they no longer feel. Trying to win her back is a mistake because it comes from a place of neediness, not strength. It tells her that you believe her approval is more valuable than your own dignity, that her attention is something you must earn. A man who chases love is a man who does not yet understand his worth. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This is one of those trials. When a woman pulls away, your reaction determines what happens next. If you chase, you confirm her decision to leave. If you let go, you give her the space to realize what she walked away from. A high-value man does not beg to be chosen. He does not need to prove himself to someone who is pulling away. If a woman is losing interest, he does not argue with reality. He accepts it. He focuses on himself. He improves his mind, his body, and his life. And if she realizes she made a mistake, she will come back on her own terms. Not because you tried to force it, but because she felt the absence of a man who respects himself. And if she doesn't, he moves forward without hesitation, knowing that his value is not tied to one person's decision. The real power is in letting go. The moment you stop trying to win her back, you regain control, not just over the situation, but over yourself. And that's when everything changes. If you're ready to stop chasing and start valuing yourself, drop this affirmation in the comments. I do not force what is not meant for me. I let go with confidence and strength. Now, let's talk about the next mistake. Reacting out of anger or frustration. When a woman ignores a weak man, he takes it personally. He feels disrespected, and instead of handling it with composure, he reacts emotionally. He might send passive-aggressive texts like, "I guess you're too busy now," or, "Wow, I see how it is." Some men go even further, throwing insults or demanding explanations. But here's the truth. Nothing kills attraction faster than emotional instability. A man who reacts with anger proves one thing: he cannot handle rejection. He is ruled by his emotions instead of mastering them, and that's not strength. That's weakness. No woman is drawn to a man who loses control over a lack of response. Marcus Aurelius once said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" Think about that. The frustration of being ignored lasts for a moment, but if you react poorly, the damage lasts forever. She won't remember your good qualities. She'll only remember how you crumbled under pressure. A strong man, on the other hand, is unfazed. If she ignores him, he does not waste his energy on negativity. He does not beg for attention or demand explanations. He moves with purpose, knowing that anger is a sign of emotional weakness. His silence speaks louder than words, and that silence leaves a lasting impression. If you understand that self-control is power, drop this affirmation in the comments. I respond with strength, not emotion. Now, let's move to the next mistake. Seeking validation or apologizing excessively. When a woman ignores a weak man, he immediately starts questioning himself. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something bad? Maybe I should apologize just in case. He sends messages like, "Hey, are you mad at me?" Or, "I'm sorry if I upset you." This is one of the biggest attraction killers because it signals insecurity and self-doubt. A man who constantly seeks reassurance is a man who lacks confidence, and nothing is less attractive than a man who doubts his own worth. When you apologize excessively for things you didn't even do, you are sending a clear message. My value depends on how you see me, and that is a weak foundation for any relationship. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop worrying about what others think of you. A high-value man does not beg for validation. He does not apologize for simply existing. He stands firm in who he is, knowing that real confidence comes from self-acceptance, not from someone else's approval. If a woman is ignoring you, do not try to fix a problem that may not even exist. Do not chase her validation or apologize just to win her attention. Instead, maintain your composure. Let her make her own decisions, and don't let her silence shake your confidence. The right woman will respect a man who respects himself. If you refuse to beg for validation, drop this affirmation in the comments. I stand firm in my worth. Now, let's move on to the next mistake. Trying to make her jealous. When a woman ignores a weak man, his first instinct is to make her feel what he's feeling. He wants her to know what it's like to be ignored, to feel that pang of jealousy, to wonder if she's losing him. So he starts playing games, posting pictures with other women, name-dropping female friends, or making sure she knows he's moving on in the most obvious way possible. But here's the problem. Women see right through this. Instead of making her jealous, it makes her lose even more respect. A truly confident man never needs to prove his worth or fake his desirability. He doesn't use other women as pawns to boost his ego. Trying to trigger jealousy comes from insecurity, not strength, and women can sense that energy instantly. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That means stop trying to appear valuable and start being valuable. Instead of scheming to get her attention, genuinely live a fulfilling life. A man who is truly confident doesn't need to manipulate emotions. His presence alone commands attention. The best way to make her realize your value is to stop caring about whether she realizes it or not. Focus on yourself. Improve your mind, your body, and your purpose. Go out not to prove a point, but because you genuinely enjoy your life. The right woman will notice. And the wrong woman, she was never yours to begin with. If you know your worth without playing games, drop this affirmation in the comments. My value is self-made, not dependent on anyone else. Now let's move on to the next mistake. Waiting around for her to respond. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman ignores them is putting their life on hold while waiting for her reply. They check their phone every few minutes, replay old conversations in their head, and analyze every little detail, hoping for a sign that she still cares. This is the ultimate form of desperation, and nothing kills attraction faster. A high-value man does not pause his life for anyone. He doesn't let a delayed text control his emotions, and he certainly doesn't let someone's silence make him question his worth. A woman should never be the center of your universe. Your purpose should be. When you have real goals, passions, and ambitions, you don't have time to sit around waiting for someone to validate you with a message. Seneca once said, "While we wait for life, life passes." The more time you spend waiting for her to respond, the more of your own life you're wasting. Every moment you sit there hoping, checking, and overthinking is a moment you could be using to become better, stronger, and more fulfilled. The best response to being ignored is to keep moving forward. If she's interested, she will reach out. If she's not, then you just saved yourself from wasting even more time on someone who doesn't value you. Either way, you win, because your value is never determined by someone else's attention. If you refuse to wait around for anyone, drop this affirmation in the comments. I keep moving forward, no matter who stays or goes. Now, let's move on to the final mistake. Changing who you are to please her. When a woman ignores a weak man, he starts shaping himself into what he thinks she wants. He changes his opinions, adjusts his behavior, and suppresses his true personality just to fit her expectations. He stops speaking his mind, becomes overly agreeable, and walks on eggshells, hoping she'll finally notice him. But instead of making her interested, this behavior kills attraction completely. A man who changes himself to gain approval is saying one thing loud and clear: "I am not enough as I am." And the moment a woman senses that insecurity, she loses respect. Why? Because deep down, women are not attracted to men who seek permission to exist. They are drawn to men who stand firm in who they are. Men who own their identity without apology. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are rooted in insecurity and a desperate need for approval, you will project weakness. But if your thoughts are grounded in self-respect, confidence, and authenticity, you will naturally command respect. The world treats you as you treat yourself. The strongest move you can make when ignored is to stay true to yourself. If she doesn't like the real you, then she's not the right woman. Changing yourself for someone else will only make you feel lost, frustrated, and disconnected from who you truly are. A high-value man attracts, he does not chase. He doesn't need to prove his worth. His presence alone is proof enough. If you refuse to change yourself for anyone, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am enough as I am, and I stand firm in my truth. The way you respond to being ignored defines you. A weak man chases, begs, and loses himself in the process. A strong man values his time, respects himself, and never loses sight of his worth. If she's ignoring you, let her. Your life does not stop for someone who can't even send a reply. Drop a comment below if you've ever made any of these mistakes. Let's talk about it. And if this video gave you some clarity, like, share, and subscribe for more real talk about self-respect and confidence. I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong